I get that the league is going through, it's still early. I mean, they started 2019. I think the fact that it's grown as much as it has since then and in the right direction has been good. Obviously, there's some quirks they still have to work out, but no, I mean, me and Sean, the owner of Wenatchee, talked to each other, and we said the best way to do this was to play it out. I know their coach disagreed. There was some misunderstanding when I had talked to the league, because we were going to say, we'll just give them the win, but we're not going to take the loss. Because the issue last season was that there were teams not playing the same amount of games. So they were doing it based off of win percentage, which in my head, it's like, all right, so if we don't have the same amount of games, then it shouldn't matter. It should have just been a wash to begin with, in my opinion. But yeah, no, me and Sean have developed a really good relationship, and we decided that the best thing to do was play it out, and Seattle was the middle point. So we just decided we're going to finish this last quarter, and winner will play Seattle.
I mean, it just only made sense to go to Seattle because the winner was going to play in Seattle anyway. So for us to be able to get that gym and finish it there was the best strategy, because it would make sense to play somewhere else and then go back up there. So
yeah, they tried to say Preston fouled out of the game, which he didn't, but we just abided by what the league said. And I mean, Wenatchee was a scrappy team. Like, they were really tough, and you know, at the end of the day, I mean, we got the win, but we almost handed it right back to them, even though we were up. I mean, they scored the first 8 points out the gate and got it within 2 in 2 minutes.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happened. It's just a weird set of a game. Like, first off, you're not starting from the beginning of the game. You're starting towards the end of the third quarter. So you got to play a quarter and some change. And then it's a matter of, you got to warm your team up to go play this period of time. And then if your team isn't ready right away, it's not like you have 3.5 more quarters to be ready, you know, and that's what happened in that situation. I mean, luckily we figured out, you know, what to do, and we pulled out the victory, but it's just a weird type of situation. Do you make subs? Do you not make subs? You know, you have a game later on that day if you win, but if you don't win, you don't have a game. So it's just a bunch of weird things that were happening, and I made one sub. I think I grew a lot, to be honest. It was a hard, you know, transition to go from player directly into coach. And then, like I said to you earlier, I still feel as if I'm capable to play at that level. So therefore, for me, it's hard to, you know, I expect certain things. And like, if I don't, you know, if I don't expect, like, it's just hard for me because, you know, I played at a, you know, a certain level, and I expect everyone else to, you know, have that experience. But then, you know, this last year really taught me that that's not always the case. So therefore, you have to, you know, make sure that you communicate to your players exactly what you want, because automatically in my mind, if I'm used to certain players doing certain things at a certain level, then, you know, it was just tough for me in that situation. So, you know, simple things on the court that I think is simple might be difficult for someone else. So, you know, I had to learn that last year a lot, and that really helped me. I feel like this season really helped me.
It's a really difficult transition to go from playing directly into coaching, especially for the team you just played for. I think the benefit with Kev is that he's not going to expect these guys to do anything that he wouldn't have done. And I think also the respect factor that Kev played at a high level for a really long time, and he was where most of these guys want to try to get to. And so he knows what it takes, and he knows what the expectation is from these guys. And so I think it's super beneficial that he did play for as long as he did, because I do think, you know, in some of these circumstances, that you have a lot of coaches that are they're only coaches. They never played. They just know what they know because they learned it in a playbook. And Kev got to experience everything. So he's coming from real life experience. And that's why I think he does have a different expectation, because he knows, one, what it takes to play at this level, and two, he was there doing it. So these guys have the opportunity to learn from the things he's already done.
I mean, of course, Allen, who ended up being our team MVP during the season, he definitely, stood out with his leadership, um, scoring ability, and able to pass the ball. Preston as well. He's he can score the basketball with the best of them. Um, Zay, he got hurt, and that was just a big loss for us because he plays defense. He, capable of scoring. Um, I mean, to be honest, I can go Devontae. I can go down Jamil. I can name, all these people that I feel like that contribute, heavy to our team. Because, I mean, to be honest, it's a long season. So there were certain periods where certain players were playing better than others. So therefore, my job is to figure out what works best in that time. So I can sit here and, like I said, name everybody on the team. Damo's energy. I can name, you know what I mean? Just certain things that people were bringing. Kyler's defense when he came in there and helped us out. Just standing under the rim, people changing shots. They just Psalm's defense when he was on the court. Like I can go on and on and on, but it's just I just feel like throughout the season, certain players stepped up. He can score. He can play defense. He can pass the ball when he wants to. He can, I just think he was that. And that's why he was voted pretty much one of our top defenders on the team because he was that for us. If I needed to start him, he could start. If I needed him to come off the bench, he's coming off the bench. There's no ego about it. There's no attitude about it. Once I say it, it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm all right with that. So for sure, I just think that he deserves a lot of the credit of our success for sure.
Like I said before, that he experienced this. He's teaching from real life that he went through. I think it's really hard that people don't understand the dynamic, especially of overseas basketball. Like it's very cutthroat, and you need to do your job and you need to do it well. And I think the biggest thing is the consistency. I mean, I think that's one of those things where it's really hard to be consistent day in and day out. And Kev is consistent, and that's what this organization needs on every level.
Well, that's what we preach, the consistency thing. And that was before I came on board. I played overseas for 13, 14 years. And I wanted, if I'm going to be a part of an organization, it need to be ran that way. And that's what Jason does. He's in the community. He's the things that he promises. If you sign a contract for X amount of dollars, that's what you're going to get. Or, you're going to get all this gear. You're going to get all these things. Like he puts, everything that he has into it. And that's what I'm about. I'm the same exact way. And if that wasn't what this organization was, if it wasn't that, I wouldn't be a part of it. And then I told him from the start that's how it's going to be. If it's not, then I'm not going to be a part of it. And he shows everybody he works hard. He raises the money that we need to have a team. He does, all the extra stuff that needs to be done. So that I admire the hard work that he puts into the product. And that's why we get the results that we do.
I think the craziest part for me is I have 45 minutes unaccounted for. It's weird looking back at the game film and, dancing at halftime and doing all that stuff. I don't remember any of it. And, I remember being there. I remember setting up for the game. And then I remember being in the ambulance. And I think it, for me, just a very surreal moment. And, I don't think I've ever been afraid to die. I don't think that's ever been a thing for me. And after this happened, like that was a real thought. Like I am now afraid to die. Like I have so much stuff I want to do, so much stuff that I'm in the middle of doing, and I'm not ready to go. Like I have a lot more I want to do. So I feel super fortunate that we have the community we do. My phone, like I basically had it off for 2 days, and when it turned back on, I had over 400 text messages. I had like 800 social media messages. It was, I definitely felt the love after. And I think it definitely opened my eyes to, just continuing and working even harder to do the things I want, because nothing's promised. I mean, it's, me and Kev, whenever we say what's up coming into open gym, he's like, I woke up this morning, like another day. And that's a real thing. And, some people take it for granted, and I definitely have this new vision of what life is and what I'm supposed to be doing and the work I'm supposed to be putting in. So I'm fortunate that I'm here, and that that it happened at the game and there were doctors there. I can just imagine if I was at home. It ended up just being a spasming artery in my heart, which is nothing caused it. It was a 1 in 20 million occurrence. And yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, there wasn't anything I could have done about it, but I'm just fortunate that I had the people around me that were there.
Yeah, I mean, well, the 45 minutes that you don't remember, I remember, to be honest. But I mean, yeah, it was a tough moment. I mean, he stands or sits when he MCs during the game right behind where I'm coaching. And I never sit down. I'm standing up the entire game. So I remember clearly looking back at him multiple times and he doesn't look like his normal self. And I just clearly remember I looked once and he was just in a daze and just sitting there. And I was like, there's no energy, there's no nothing. And then I remember looking again, and then it was the same thing. And I was like, this is weird. So I step up and I go, and then I just hear boom, boom. And then I look back, and then he's on the ground grabbing his chest. So yeah, it was definitely interesting. I think we were blessed and lucky to have people react the way they did. I think we did a great job emptying the gym, getting people out of there so people didn't have to see what was happening. I just think the way that everything ended up working out wasn't something that's a long term. It's something that he's still with us here fine. And it was just, definitely eye-opening for myself and a lot of people. So we're definitely lucky and blessed to still have him here with us. So no, he was grabbing his chest.
Do you remember that part? Or is it
No, so actually I was having some crampy stuff, and I was just I don't know, maybe, muscle stuff, whatever. Because I remember talking to Zach Stone before the game started, and I was just kind of he goes, "You all right?" I was like, "Yeah." And I think I even joked with Zach. I was like, "If I die or if anything happens, just let him know my chest was hurting." I'm pretty sure I said something along those lines to Zach, before the game even started, jokingly. And then lo and behold, they said Zach caught me and I was yelling for John. So if I was gonna die in Zach's arms calling out for John, I feel like I would have been okay with that.
He kind of broke the fall a little bit is what happened, because there was a thump.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and then I'm coaching. We're at the free throw line. I remember it clearly. And I'm like, oh, and then I run over to you and then try to turn you. And then I run back out and then call a timeout because the game's still going on. And then I run back, and then it's me and Zach there. And then John comes over. But it was just we're sitting there trying to hold, and then people were just looking. And then it was just so, those situations are just so fast of how it happens. But
yeah. So no, I'm definitely appreciative of everyone that, stepped up and took part to make sure that, the ambulance could get there and I could get to the hospital.
Story for another time.
Ambulance, forever. I heard took their
forever.
Sweet ass time, but at the end of the day, I'm still here and very fortunate that I am.
Exactly.
I think we've done a really good job making sure the community feels included. I like to say when we go through our tryout process, we're not always looking for the best guys. We're looking for the right guys. I've been on plenty of teams where we haven't been the most talented, but all these dudes got along, and chemistry, in my experience, goes a long way on the basketball court. So making sure we have good dudes on the court and off the court. Obviously, we're fortunate to have a guy like Damo, who is the community favorite. I mean, the fact that he has 80 kids every time, and he has boxes of Pokemon cards that people now donate to him so he can sign them and hand them out to kids after. And the cool part is he brings those on the road with him. So we'll go on the road and he'll have kids line up after games and he'll sign autographs at other people's arenas. But I think that, these guys do a really good job with making sure they are professionals. We talk about etiquette a lot, and obviously in the heat of the game, heat of the moment, Sure, guys are getting a little scrappy. I'm sure there's going to be some words thrown around, but they know once they step off that court, like it's all good. And I think just the upgrades we keep trying to do, we try to make every year bigger and better. I mean, year one, we averaged 500 people. Year two, we averaged 600. Last year, we averaged 700. I'm hoping we can get up around that 1,000 mark this year. The flip-flopping of the arena and trying to make those type of upgrades, I think they're minor details that will go a long way, especially like with our camera being on the other side, finally being able to see the actual crowd instead of just looking at the aux box the whole time. Just the community members that want to be involved. I mean, year 1 and 2, it was me doing a lot of reaching out. Hey, do you want to be involved? Hey, do you want to be involved? And now I just get emails and phone calls. We want to be part of this. What can we do? How can we do this? So it's, I feel very blessed and fortunate that we have people that are wanting to be part of this, knowing that it's something special and knowing that it's something that's going to be around for a long time.
When it comes to the team, a big part of this, I mean, this is my 3rd year coming into coaching, and I really want to bring like a Capitals culture. Like I want it to be, when we step on the court, the other team knows what they're going to get. They know that we're going to fight every possession. They know we're going to go hard every possession. We're going to go after every rebound. And that's something I want to focus on and preach more. I'm not saying I wasn't doing that before, but I don't want to have those, situations where we have a collapse for a game or two because, we won some games or something. I just want, to have that, carry over like we did towards the end of the season. Like I've noticed a pattern of, we start off the season, okay, then we start playing well, and then we go down, and then towards the end of the season, we're playing, great. But my ultimate goal, again, is to be playing the best basketball at the end of the season, of course. But I want to try to, just have that culture so we don't have those games against Wenatchee where we collapse. Or, I just want to really preach that and make sure everyone knows that we're playing for each other out there. Like that's a big part of it. Like we want to win games. So therefore, if we're together, we win games that way.